Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. We'll continue to do so. This week's parsha naturally is famous because it's Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's the story of our exodus from Egypt. Everything in the Torah is Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim, all the mitzvot. Yetzias Mitzrayim is the central event in Jewish history which leads to Matan Torah. Those are the two pillars upon which the Jewish people are erected and based. So we read in the Haggadah of Pesach that B'chol dor v'dor chayav hodom liros es atzmo kilu hu yotzo miMitzrayim. That in every generation, Jews are obligated to see themselves as though they themselves went forth from Egypt. In other words, to re-experience the exodus from Egypt. Now, re-experiencing events that we were not present for is not an easy matter. Even to re-experience something that we were present for is also difficult. We all find it difficult to have the enthusiasm that we had for the first day of any period of our life, because things become habitual. They become regular. And that's for the Torah warns us about mitzvot, mitzvahs anoshim melumedes. Mitzvahs that become only habitual, done out of habit, don't really carry the day anymore. So therefore, the great Hasidic masters, they say it in the name of the Maggid of Koznitz, of Yisrael Holstein, they say that every day a person has to feel that today he went out of Mitzrayim. In other words, we don't record an historical event as much as we commemorate a current state of mind, which is what? That we have left Egypt, we've left the bondage and slavery of Egypt. Now the Torah describes us as slaves, so to speak, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ki avodai hein, the Torah says. The Jewish people are my servants, and therefore lo avodim la avodim. Therefore, they are not servants to other servants. And as Rashi points out from the famous Medrash story, Kodem, my mortgage is first. Their obligation to me precedes all other obligations in life. Because avodai hein, they are my servants. So in effect, the Lord is offering the Jewish people not so much an exit from servitude, from discipline, from commandments, from obeying strictures. That's a hedonism that we are not entitled to. But it's a transference of servitude from serving human beings, from being avodim laparo melech Mitzrayim, to being avodim to the Hashem Yisborach. In other words, a person, a Jew, is in a constant state of avdus, of servitude. The only question is, which master does he serve? And those who think that they are completely free, well, all of us can testify that in life that doesn't exist. Somehow in life there are always restraints upon us. So I'm restrained by governmental law, right? I have to, this shiur is sent by Zoom because I can't be in the shul and you can't be in the shul. Why? I'm a free person. You're a free person. Why can't I go? And we are guaranteed to be free, right? Be a free person. Nobody is free. People have obligations. They have obligations to family, to community, to society. They have commitments to fulfill. And oftentimes we create our own bondage. You know, when my son was a little boy, and I had been a lawyer for 9 years. He was then now about 5 or 6. And we moved to Miami Beach and I became a rabbi. So one of the perks, so to speak, of becoming a rabbi is that I came home for lunch every day. And he noticed that. So one of the members of the congregation asked him, he said, Chaim, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he answered, I want to be a rabbi. So they asked him, why? So he said, because he never has to go to work. Going to work is servitude. We're bound to, there are days that we don't want to go. Even if it's my own business, there are days that I don't feel like it. But nevertheless, we are bound to do so. So all of life is a trade-off of servitudes. There are people that, thank God, have sufficient wealth to last them for their entire lives. But they want to guarantee that their children, or even their grandchildren, or even their great-grandchildren, should also be guaranteed to have wealth for their entire lives. So they're slaves to that idea that somehow they have to be the provider for all generations. And in a wild idea that I have had, and when you're home alone, you have a lot of wild ideas. I thought that perhaps fits with the description that we mentioned yesterday, that a vast majority of the Jewish people did not leave Egypt. And we took that literally to mean that they died in Egypt, they were buried in Egypt, only a fifth went out. But perhaps on a different plane, on a different level, we could understand that what Chazal meant is that they never left Egypt because they remained slaves. They remained slaves to what Egypt stood for, to material things, to temporal things, to temporary things that do not last, to values which were not theirs. They never left Egypt. Because Egypt accompanied them, was with them. And therefore, when the rabbi said that in every generation one has to view himself today leaves Egypt, it's not only a geographical leaving. It's not only going from place A to place B. It's not just changing one's citizenship. It's not just that I don't have to file income tax in Egypt anymore. But it's a mental and spiritual development that I have been able to understand that I am an Eved Hashem, and that cancels out all other forms of Avdus which exist in the world. And therefore, that's why the Rebbeinu Shalom Kaviyachol calls Moshe Avdi. Lo chein Moshe Avdi, Moshe my servant, my slave. Who he's trustworthy everywhere. Because he is truly free. And Chazal say that the true freedom is to be a servant of God and not a servant of human beings or of temporal and passing values. Thank you for listening, and stay well, everyone, and get yourself vaccinated. And look forward to meeting you all again in Shul, in Meira V'Yomeinu, as soon as we can. Kol Tuv Selah.